Before you fly an airplane, there's a lot of stuff you have to check, so today's video is about the walk-around. Every airplane is different and they have their own systems, so you need to make sure you use the proper procedure to do the walk-around in your airplane. Today I'm going to talk about the Cessna 172, as it's the most common trainer airplane and also the most produced airplane of all times. So let's get started. The walk-around is a pre-flight inspection that we do before every flight, where we check a bunch of different things on our airplane. We do it just to check that all the parts are moving as they should, there's no cracks or damage, nothing wrong with the fuel, and all the systems are working. If something goes wrong with your car, you just pull up on the side of the road. If something goes wrong in your airplane and you're flying, options are more limited. Now, who can do it? It's a busy day out here. The walk-around can be done by anybody trusted by the pilot in command. As the pilot in command, it's your responsibility to make sure the aircraft is safe to fly. With that being said, if you're a flight instructor and you're teaching your students how to do the walk-around, because they should learn, right? The first time they try, you're gonna be there shadowing them, just making sure they don't forget anything. Once you see they got it and they're doing a good job, then they can be the one doing it for you. So you can teach anyone to do the walk-around for you if you fully trust them. Let's get into it. In your POH or Pilot Operating Handbook, you're gonna find a picture like this one with clear instructions of what to do when you're doing the walk-around. You're gonna enter the airplane, remove the control lock so you can actually move the control surfaces. Then you're gonna turn the master on. Now, what is that sound? That sound you hear when you turn the master on comes from the gyroscope inside of the bank and turn coordinator. So don't freak out, it's completely normal, and once you turn the master off, it's gonna slowly stop spinning. But before you turn the master off, you gotta check this stuff outside. You can switch on the lights, the pitot heat, and put the flaps down. You're gonna go outside, and in about 30 seconds the pitot tube should be hot. That means that the pitot heat is working. Great. Now you're gonna check your lights. Landing lights. Some airplanes have them in the nose, some airplanes have them on the wing. Then you're gonna check your nav lights. Red on the left, green on the right, white in the back of the tail. And in the top of the tail, beacon. So now that you check all the lights and the pitot heat, with the flaps down, you're gonna turn the master off. When you turn the master off, make sure all the switches for the lights go back off. Now, something extremely important we have to check before every single flight is the fuel. Not only the quantity, but also if we have any contamination. So for that, we have a little cup. In the Cessna, we have a little drain on the right wing and also on the left wing, close to the body of the airplane. And another one in the nose of the airplane. There's a little tab you can pull to drain some fuel from the fuel lines right next to the engine. If you have any water in the fuel, it's gonna be very easy to spot. As water is much heavier than the fuel, it's gonna sink to the bottom of the cup you're using to drain the fuel. If you do encounter water, make sure you keep removing until there's no more water coming out of the fuel tanks. And if there's any debris inside of the tanks, make sure you check before you go flying. You shouldn't risk it. If there's anything small that can clog a fuel line, that can lead to fuel starvation. And if the engine can't get the fuel it needs, it's gonna stop working while you're flying. Before you drain the fuel, make sure the airplane was stationary for a bit, just so fuel is not moving around and mixing with debris and water. How do I even get water inside the tank? That's because of condensation. Every fuel tank has to have a little air vent to equalize the pressure, so no vacuum is created inside of the tanks, stopping the fuel flow. Humid air will get inside of the tanks, and at night things get colder, the humidity will condensate, and you're gonna get water inside of the wings. Every day, warm air comes in, and at night water drips down. You can accumulate more and more water inside the tanks, leading to a big problem. So if you're planning to take a break from flying and your airplane is just gonna sit, make sure you fill your tanks up so no condensation happens, or at least very little happens. So now I know that we have enough fuel and there's no water or debris in it. What's next? Oil for cooling, cleaning, sealing, and lubricating stuff, so everything flows smoothly. The amount of oil we need depends on the airplane, so make sure you refer to your Pilot Operating Handbook or POH, and always make sure you use the proper type of oil for the aircraft. Right, now it's finally time to walk around the airplane. Right behind the left door, there's the baggage compartment on the Cessna 172. You need to make sure that that's locking properly, and there's zero chance that that door is gonna open mid-flight, dropping stuff around people, you know. You really don't want to hurt someone because you didn't check your baggage door. Moving towards the back of the airplane, you're gonna check the horizontal stabilizer. Make sure that there are no dents, nothing's cracked, nothing's loose, nothing's bent. Then the elevators are going up and down. There's nothing holding it back. No cables are too loose, but also they're not stuck. All the hinges are in place, nothing's cracked, nothing's broken. The vertical stabilizers, same thing, make sure it's in place and the rudder is moving freely. The cables are not loose, the cables are not stuck. Now you're gonna go up towards the right wing. So in the wings there's a lot to check. First, the flaps are down, right? They should move a little bit, not too much. Like they shouldn't be loose, but they shouldn't be so tight that they don't give a little. A few millimeters up and down, completely normal. Check the hinges, check the bearings, check the rails where the flaps move. There's nothing stuck, nothing's bent, nothing preventing the flap to go up or down. Great. Now the ailerons. Check if they're going up and down. Same thing, all the hinges are in place, there's nothing stuck, there's nothing loose. When the right goes up, the left goes down. It should be aligned, no twisting, no bending, nothing's wrong. The wingtip, no cracks, all the lights are in place, nothing is loose. Then the leading edge of the wing, there are no cracks, you didn't hit any birds or drones in your last flight. So if the entire wing is clean, there's no debris, no damage, and not a ton of bugs, great. You're gonna go all the way down the wing. There's some air vents in there. Now that you're here near the right door, you should check the tires, okay? Check the pressure, make sure it's not too soft, make sure the brake is not leaking any fluid. It would be easy to spot, and you can also touch the discs and see if you get any fluids in your hand. Just check the whole structure, make sure everything's firmly in place. If something's wrong with the airplane, it's normally easy to see or hear when things move. Especially with time, you get very familiar with the airplane, so if something's looking off, it's easy to spot. But don't get comfortable. Really look through everything to make sure there are no problems. Now we move towards the nose of the airplane. Assuming that you already checked the oil, you can just go forward and check the front. You're gonna check the propellers. No dents, no nicks, no cracks on both of the blades of the propeller. If you have more blades, good for you. Check them all. Now in the Cessna, you can actually check the alternator belt. You can visually inspect it and you can press it just to make sure there's enough tension or about to crack. While you're in there and you can see the opening of the engine, make sure there's no nests of birds, especially if your airplane has been sitting outside for a long time like this one. I'm sure before they fly, they check if there are, no nest, no birds, nothing making a home out of your airplane. You have an air intake that it's used when carb heat's on, which is unfiltered. So if there's a little bird laying eggs right there and you use the carb heat, you're gonna make a little omelette inside of your engine. Now the landing gear. In the front tire, same thing goes for the pressure. You need to check that's not too soft. There's enough air right there. And the oleo is sitting where it should be. So normally around 3 to 4 fingers, and you see that the oleo is actually absorbing some of the impact on the nose wheel. So after you check that, you go to the left side of the nose. That's where the static port is. You need to make sure that there's nothing blocking the static port, because that gives you 3 very important instruments: your altimeter, vertical speed indicator, and airspeed indicator. So if there's something blocking the static port, it's gonna be a bad day for you. Now moving to the left wing, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna check the tires, the brakes, the leading edge, everything just like you did in the right wing, with the addition of 2 things. In here you have the stall horn and the pitot tube. No little insect making a little nest inside of your pitot tube, because the pitot tube is also very important for the airspeed indicator. If there's something blocking the pitot tube, you're gonna have problems as well. And to check the stall horn, you could technically go there and suck air from the stall horn. I wouldn't do that. You're gonna breathe a wasp, and that's not a fun thing to do. But just make sure that there's nothing blocking the stall horn and air can flow in and out. Someone is doing a maintenance run up, so I'm gonna wait a little. Whoa! It's the Dash 7 taking off from 26 left. That's pretty cool. Unexpected. If I knew, I would have a better lens right now. When you're doing the walk around, you can actually check how dirty the airplane is. And please, make sure you clean the windshield before your flight. Having a clean windshield is very important to check for traffic. The last thing you need is something making your vision worse. So make sure you have clean windshield, and make sure you use the proper products to clean your windshield. It needs to be something that's safe for the acrylic type we use in airplanes. It can't be just any type of glass cleaner or soap or detergent. Those things can damage the windshield, and with time it's gonna make things worse. And if it's a day like today where you can see frost everywhere, make sure you clean that up or use de-ice fluid before your flight, because frost or ice can increase the drag significantly, also decreasing the lift by a lot. Be safe always. It's a lot. Something else you need to check are your antennas. Not only your radio antennas, but also your VOR antenna and your GPS antenna. Also your ELT antenna. Very important one. Now that the pre-flight inspection is done, good. All you have to do now is the weight and balance. Make sure you have all the documents. If you're going far away, you're gonna file a flight plan, and I see you in the air. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really trying my best to do a video per week, every week, on nice subjects about aviation. If you have any suggestions for future videos, I'll be happy to hear. Maybe the topic you choose will be the next week's video. Who knows? Before I came to Canada, it was very hard for me to find information online about pilot training. That's why I started this YouTube channel to help people that, just like me, were looking for information about pilot training. So if you want to know anything on how things work and how to get started, just text me on Instagram. It's Fly with Pedro. The links are down in the description, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.